it makes me money. So you say you've wasted life away. I've got a beach home up the Buffalo and a wristwatch that's a compass and a cell phone and a wristwatch that tells me you're alone. Hi, it's Charles, and that is MJ Lenderman's Wristwatch, which I was working on today. So I had a really interesting day or two of practice, and tonight I just kind of wound up playing and transcribing this. So everything I've read on the internet is like tune a full step down, but you know, one thing I don't really like to do is necessarily have like a guitar that's tuned a full step down. Occasionally I will. If I'm in like a big phase of like I really want to learn these Elliott Smith songs or something like that. But instead what I often do is I actually just don't worry about it and just transpose it up to standard tuning. It worked really well with this one. There's a little bit more bar chords, but it's not too bad. So when I was transcribing this, I actually hadn't looked at the tabs or chords or anything online first. I'm trying to improve my ear training a little bit here. So the first thing I went is, all right, how do I play this bit? And I did not have that. I had this, which sounds great, but it adds an extra beat. So not so great. Even if you're doing that as a grace note, it still adds that. It still winds up adding that extra beat for me because I really like that as an eighth note. It just sounds a little bit better in my opinion, but it really is not that. It is. And then you got to make sure you alternate pick it right, or else it gets real weird because you're doing double down strokes. So I was just transcribing that, and then the other piece that's really fun when you're transcribing is, you know, well, what's the key? Like, what are the chords that we're playing here? So I noticed this first chord is D minor that we get here after the intro, because the intro is, that is not D minor. I believe that's a C chord. I think it's C. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't actually played any chords there. But you just take that D minor, and then from there, this is where you get a few bars. You go B flat, F, and then repeat. So that was really fun, just working that out by ear. It's a song I really like. I was listening to a bunch of MJ Lenderman today for some reason that I don't really understand. So that was the one thing I was working on today. It was just like, hey, let's add a new cover song to our rep. It was also fun. I learned the song after that. She's Leaving You, I think is what it's called. I'm not 100% sure, but it sounds just like Drive By Truckers. And that's a really interesting riff because it's just... But I think that sounds a little thin when you're doing solo acoustic. So how do you add double stops? And I actually went with fourths on this one. It feels more like a 12-string guitar when you go. So that was kind of fun. Just go 1 1 3 3 0 0. I think I like 1 0 best here, and then into your C G, B flat, and then F. So it was just kind of fun learning a couple new songs by a guy I'd never really learned any songs from. Big fan. So I was working on that, and then another thing I was working on was some motifs. I think maybe I've just listened to enough Dead lately, I don't really know, where I started to notice that they were doing this really cool little motif where it's something like this. And it ends kind of on that unresolved piece if you're staying on that chord. But if you're comping, it is no longer unresolved because that winds up being a minor third or a major seventh when you're moving up the fretboard that way in the initial key, which means it winds up being the major third, I believe, on the fourth, and the major seventh, I think, on the fifth. Might be the other way around. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I wrote it down somewhere. So that's a cool motif, and there's a lot of really interesting things you can do for that. Because so much of the time for Jerry Garcia and stuff, you're going to hear. Where it's just going up the scale, but coming right back down. Like St. Stephen there. So you're going to hear a lot of that. But then when they get really out there and start jamming a lot, you get. And just start to hear like all these different notes on these scales coming out. And a big part of this, and a part of why I was looking at this, is like I was playing some solos and things, just playing along with some songs that I like, dead songs, of course. And it's kind of fun to play like in the pocket where there's not like a ton of space, and just try and see like how can I add some sound into here and also mimic some stuff Jerry's doing or whatever guitarist you're listening to. I highly recommend playing along with records you like. I think it's great. You get to play along with the greatest musicians of all time. Do it. So I was doing that, and I was noticing, hey, you know, there's a lot of space on a guitar because I play a lot of mandolin too, right? And so there's a lot of space on a guitar. So like I've been working on Dog's Waltz. Or it's, excuse me. Oop. But what I just want to show is like, you're starting on the D string on 4. And then by like the 5th note, you're already on the high E string. So the intervals on a guitar are really short, and they're like really close together. And because they're so tight, sometimes I think on guitar we get a little bit too into the idea of just noodling on like. In these little spaces, and instead of using the full dynamic range of the instrument, which is kind of what I was thinking with. Or excuse me. Whoop. Because you're in the mid-range section of a guitar, essentially. It's very mid-range here. And then you're starting to get into that treble section. So you're basically having like multiple lines of melody that you're working at the same time. Yeah, thanks for listening. This is kind of a weird impromptu nighttime practice log after doing a lot of practicing today. And there's some cool stuff here, so I hope you enjoyed it. A little bit rambly, but like and subscribe. I might put a little tutorial video up soon on that little MJ Lenderman, because it's pretty fun. So I'm just going to play you out a little bit. I'm not going to play you out with MJ Lenderman, though. Like and subscribe. Thanks for listening. And let me know if you have any questions, comments. I'm starting to notice some of this alternate picking I've been talking about. It's really starting to pay off. As well as all the ear training I've been doing, which is awesome. So keep it up yourself if you're practicing. And thanks for listening. I'm Charles.